Echoes of the past, the risks of Somalia. Repeating a 50-year-old error with Ethiopia, past decisions can have enduring effects in the complex and ever-changing geopolitical landscape of the Horn of Africa. 50 years ago, Somalia made a pivotal and consequential choice to engage in a military conflict with Ethiopia, backed by Egypt. This decision altered Somalia's immediate future and triggered a series of events that continue to influence the nation and the broader region today. As we examine the immediate and long-term repercussions of this historical mistake, it is essential to understand how similar actions today could potentially shape Somalia's future and destabilize the region once more.
The early 1970s marked a significant turning point in the Horn of Africa. Motivated by territorial ambitions and bolstered by Egypt's support, Somalia launched a military offensive against Ethiopia. The primary goal was to gain control over the Ogaden region, an area Somalia claimed based on ethnic and historical ties. However, a strategic move to expand influence quickly escalated into a costly and prolonged conflict. Somalia's decision to attack Ethiopia was driven by a desire to shift the regional power balance, but it ultimately led to significant setbacks for the country.
The immediate aftermath of the conflict was devastating for Somalia. The war depleted the country's military resources, leaving its armed forces overstretched and underfunded. The financial burden of the war was immense, leading to an economic downturn that crippled the nation. Infrastructure was destroyed, lives were lost, and the social fabric of Somalia was severely damaged. The conflict also heightened regional tensions, prompting Ethiopia and its allies to strengthen their military capabilities, which in turn led to a prolonged period of instability in the Horn of Africa. Moreover, Somalia's alignment with Egypt alienated potential regional and international allies. The decision to support Egypt in its conflict with Ethiopia led to Somalia's diplomatic isolation, as many nations viewed the move as a destabilizing factor in an already volatile region. This isolation further compounded Somalia's challenges, reducing foreign aid and investment at a time when the country desperately needed external support.
The long-term consequences of Somalia's decision to attack Ethiopia are still felt today. The war weakened Somalia's central government and state institutions, setting the stage for the country's descent into civil war in the 1990s.
The erosion of government authority led to the fragmentation of Somalia, with warlords and militias gaining control over various regions. This fragmentation has made it difficult for Somalia to achieve lasting peace and stability, as the country remains divided along clan lines and plagued by ongoing violence.
Economically, the conflict stunted Somalia's development. The war and its aftermath left the country unable to build the infrastructure necessary for economic growth.
Investment opportunities were lost, poverty rates soared, and unemployment became widespread. These economic challenges have had a lasting impact on Somalia's ability to recover and rebuild, contributing to the cycles of violence and instability that persist to this day.
The conflict also reshaped the geopolitical dynamics of the Horn of Africa. Somalia's aggressive stance towards Ethiopia disrupted regional alliances and trade routes, altering the balance of power in the region.
This shift in dynamics has had lasting implications, influencing the relationships between neighboring countries and affecting the overall stability of the Horn of Africa.
As Somalia navigates the complexities of the modern world, the potential risks of repeating past mistakes are significant. Engaging in a similar conflict with Ethiopia today could result in even more severe consequences, given the current global and regional dynamics.
The Horn of Africa remains a volatile region, and any renewed hostilities between Somalia and Ethiopia could destabilize the entire area, drawing in international powers and leading to a more complex and prolonged conflict.
A new war would likely worsen the humanitarian crisis in Somalia, leading to increased displacement, loss of life, and suffering for the civilian population. The country's fragile economy would face further strain, as economic sanctions and international isolation could cripple its ability to recover and develop.
Additionally, prolonged conflict and instability could invite greater foreign intervention, potentially threatening Somalia's sovereignty and its ability to govern itself independently.
The decision made by the Somali government 50 years ago to attack Ethiopia with support from Egypt has had far-reaching consequences that continue to influence the country's trajectory. The lessons of history are clear. Repeating such a mistake today could have even more devastating outcomes, further hindering Somalia's progress towards stability and development. As Somalia looks to the future, it must carefully consider the implications of its actions, avoiding the pitfalls of the past, to build a more peaceful and prosperous future for its people and the region as a whole.